Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and it was much better than Mr. Dan O'Dowd's. Quick thank you to my new Patreon supporters, Surinder, Daniel, Tech, Tess, James, and Craig. Thank you all very much for choosing to support the channel. First up, from the man himself, the third largest individual shareholder of Tesla, reportedly saying that Tesla will be the largest company by revenues, profits, and market valuation in the world by 2025. He'll continue to buy. Ignore the FUD. Totally agree. Here's the game. When will Tesla become the most valuable company on planet Earth? Put the year below of your best guess. I would love to see your takes. Here we have it, the FUD for the weekend. This is really good. You've probably seen a lot of it, so we'll go through quickly. From Dan O'Dowd, placed a full-page advertisement in the New York Times. Research shows this is between $150,000 and $250,000 for this ad. Campaigning to ban Tesla FSD from roads, this Real Dawn project is organizing the opposition to Elon's ill-advised full self-driving robot car experiment. Elon chimed in saying Green Hill Software is a pile of trash. Linux for the win. This Linux for the win will come back into play here in a second. Here's the actual ad. Let's point out a few things. Don't be a Tesla crash test dummy. We did not sign our families up to be crash test dummies for thousands of Tesla cars being driven on the public roads by the worst software ever sold by a Fortune 500 company. That's not hyperbole or anything. Listen to this. The Dawn Project has analyzed many hours of YouTube videos made by users of Tesla's FSD. They then make some claims and create some data from those YouTube videos, and they conclude the Dawn Project is offering $10,000 to the first person who can name another commercial product from a Fortune 500 company that has a critical malfunction every 8 minutes. Now, I could sit here and talk about this for an hour easily, but the point is I hate, and I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate when people spend time and money only tearing down other people, especially competition. There are clear ulterior motives that we'll get to shortly, but if you're somebody out there that finds yourself often cutting other people down as a way to maybe make yourself feel better, it's really a horrible way to live, and I would encourage you to do what you can to get out of that existence. Mr. Dan O'Dowd, this goes to you. It's simple. Life is so much better when you have the mindset of working together to push humanity forward. If you see an issue, well, let's come up with some solutions. And sure, not all competition is going to help each other, but why doesn't Green Hills focus on Green Hills and do what they do instead of trying to chase Tesla clout, which is becoming the norm? I digress. Let's keep going. Ross added, there has not been one accident or injury since the FSD beta launch. Not one, not a single one. In that time, 20,000 people have died on the road in car accidents. Asking Elon, is this correct? He says, yes, correct. I did fact check this. Yes, I even fact check Elon. I believe it's mostly true. However, I did find this from Automotive News back in November. NHTSA reviewing owner complaint of accident using Tesla FSD beta software. Remember, this is just a complaint, just so you're aware. It said, but the car by itself took control and forced itself into the incorrect lane. So I'm only showing you this to try to be fair and unbiased and provide the facts. At this point, however, I would still be confident in saying that there have been no accidents caused by FSD. Zero. And yes, it is clear Green Hill software is being used directly by competitors of Tesla, used in the 2022 BMW iX. And Holmar shared Ford, Mobileye, and Toyota are the customers of the guy who took out the anti-FSD ad in the New York Times. Now, Holmars also shared a very solid blog. There was definitely some personal attacks, but I mean, I guess that's to be expected, and I understand his emotions for sure. I will link this blog post below if you want to read more. The one thing I definitely want to highlight that Holmars dug up is this. Remember how Elon said Linux for the win, a direct competitor to Green Hills? Well, rewind back to 2004. Dan O'Dowd, ring a bell? Green Hill Software founder and CEO, today issued the white paper Linux in Defense, an urgent threat to national security. So what is this? Well, it's a pattern that Mr. Dan O'Dowd, when faced with competition, will launch anti-attack campaigns on said competition. And it gets even worse. I mean, listen to this guy. He says, when Elon is wrong, he always resorts to insults. Remember the pedo guy? FSD is the worst trash software ever shipped by a respectable company. Green Hill Software is the operating system for B-1B nuclear bombers, F-35 fighter jets, and Boeing 787s. Now, in the Holmars blog, he astutely pointed out some issues with the fighter jets and Boeing, so if you're interested in that, it's all in his blog. And look, sure, you could argue that even Elon's comment was a bit childish, and perhaps unnecessary. However, doing something like this is completely uncalled for, and at the heart of it, it is a blatant attack on competition. He's worried about losing money, and he's trying to stop a technology that will ultimately save millions of lives, and that is really indisputable. So before we get too carried away, I don't think this guy deserves any more of our time or emotions. So there you have it. I'll link some of the stuff below if you want to dive in further. But personally, I do not think this Dawn project will gather enough momentum to make a meaningful impact in stopping or slowing down Tesla's progress. If anything changes, we'll come back and revisit this situation. But a quick, huge life lesson takeaway: if you find yourself, even in your head, even if you don't articulate it, cutting other people down, having a sense of jealousy, wanting to see other people fail, rather than working together, finding solutions, working on building your own projects or whatever you're working on, it's just an exhausting and a negative headspace to spend any amount of time in. So if you feel your mind going there, try to cut yourself off and get back into focusing on yourself, solving problems, working together, and remembering that we're all in this together. So as we move on from that, I figured we could take a quick second from Andrina to watch a lighthearted puppy chasing a mini Cybertruck video. It's hard to watch something like this and not immediately feel better and have a little chuckle. And one more from Earl of Frunk Puppy for good measure: earnings estimates versus Tesla actual earnings. This is wildly impressive, and yes, I am excited for January 26th. Well done, pup. We also had this over the weekend from Comma. There's some chance we pass Tesla this year. Now, this is like the most broad, vague statement. What are they even talking about? Are they going to pass Tesla on the street? Are they going to pass him in terms of level 2? Are they going to pass him in terms of city street driving? The answer is no to that question. However, a quick update on Comma if you haven't been paying much attention. Their OpenPilot software really is a great open source project. It's awesome for long stretches of highway, but they're mostly focusing on level 2. They're not really stopping at lights or stop signs. They're just using adaptive cruise control to slow down for cars. But yes, their system is cheaper. It costs about $2,200 for the new Comma 3 version, and you don't have to touch the wheel when you're using it. As mentioned, it's open source, which is cool because you can actually buy tailored versions for different cars. And yes, there are over 100 plus different automobiles that are supported for this software. With its Comma 2, it was basically using a smartphone, the Le Pro Phone 3. Now moving to Comma 3, it has its own dedicated system on chip designed by Comma and uses a Snapdragon 845. It has an upgraded camera suite and purpose-built sensors for level 2 driving, and they have moved from Android with Comma 2 to Linux for Comma 3. So just a quick and dirty update on Comma and where they're at. Main takeaway is they are really only focusing on level 2, at least right now. So my guess would be this tweet is that they might pass Tesla, whatever that means, in terms of level 2 driving. This whole thing though is so very subjective, so let's move on. Back to whole Mars. It's so weird how the most vocal critics of FSD always have a huge financial interest in a competing solution. Preach. Elon says, indeed. Whole Mars, hey Elon, when's Giga Texas opening? Can you send me 10.9? Elon says 10.9 going out later this week, which he said this morning. Well, already here we have a screenshot of some 10.9 release notes. As always, go ahead and pause the screen to read all of them. One I wanted to point out though is this: made unprotected left turns across oncoming lanes more natural by proceeding straight into the intersection while yielding before initiating the turn. This is great news and should play a key role in reducing the frustration of the cars behind you before this update. And if you choose to read through the rest and you get tripped up by some terminology, Green the only said TRIP is the name of the Hardware 3 neural processing unit. They were always used in production firmwares on Hardware 3. Coming back here, the sparse intersection network is the first model deployed with an auto-regressive architecture that runs natively with low latency on the TRIP AI accelerator chip through innovations in the AI compiler stack. Another one you might not recognize, increased intersection region IOU or intersection over union, I believe, by 4.2%. This just has to do with object detection. So very, very simply, it looks like this will improve by roughly 4%. One last one, it looks like 10.9 will be using the raw photons that Elon mentioned recently. Upgraded generalized static object network to use 10-bit photon count streams rather than 8-bit ISP tone-mapped images. Very simply put, it'll just make things faster and more efficient, removing one step. And for this one, we clap. NHTSA safety advisor Missy Cummings ordered to recuse herself from any matters relating to Tesla. So well done. Who knows if it was from the polls and everything that the Tesla community raised? Either way, if you didn't know, Missy was serving on the board of directors at Veoneer, a LiDAR company. She is, by the way, still listed on the Veoneer website, but it's probably just a matter of them not updating the site right away. Now, important note, while she can seemingly no longer serve on that board, as a human being, she's probably not happy about having to be removed from that position. So this could actually lead her to be more biased toward Tesla and just cause her to do it in more veiled ways because she has that passive aggressive feel that she can't serve on the board of directors, mostly because of the Tesla community. I'm not saying that's the reality, I'm just saying it's a possibility for how she is actually thinking. So we'll see what the future holds, but overall, it was good to see this. Quick update on the heat pump and climate controls. Elon said over the weekend there was a firmware fix to recalibrate the heat pump expansion valve is rolling out now. This was on January 15th. I'm sure we'll get some more updates into how this firmware fix is actually working in the real world here in the beginning of this week. Found another really cool website. It is motormatchup.com. This is the efficiency tab. Obviously, this will be linked below. So you can go and play around with some different parameters, like the state of charge for the battery, how fast you're going, any extra weight or payload in the vehicle, the ambient temperature, elevation, and it will adjust all of these different things, such as efficiency, the range, aerodynamic drag, etc. You can even change from aero wheels to sport wheels, and it will show you in real time how these changes are affecting your metrics. So if you wanted to play around with that and learn more of the terminology, there you go. A huge swath of India is really championing for Tesla to still come to India despite the governmental challenges. Blue Smart promises to buy 1,000 Model 3s as several leaders try to woo Elon to set up manufacturing in India. Blue Smart is a 100% electric ride-hailing platform. Here is the tweet to back it up. And as you scroll down through the rest of this article, you can see many leaders from India reaching out to Elon, quoting that tweet that Elon made, trying to get Elon to overcome these challenges and ultimately set up shop in India. However, I would love to get an update from the ministers and the people in power. What are they thinking with regard to the import taxes and the duties? That is really what needs to change, and I haven't heard anything about them budging or being close to dropping the import duties. Point here though, there is clear support within India to bring Tesla there, so hopefully they can all pull together, reach out to the people in charge and get them to make a change. To all you Canadians out there, congratulations, your patience has paid off. Elon said we will start rolling out FSD beta in Canada cautiously in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Remember prior, he said there are subtle important differences between the US and Canada traffic rules, but FSD beta will be extended to Canada soon. The Kilowatt shared, checking out the Tesla semi-charger from just outside the fence at Frito-Lay in Modesto. Looks like Tesla's urban charger at 2 times the scale, 7 feet tall, and check out that new charge handle. Here are the images that he shared. Here is that charge handle he was referring to. Definitely looks very solid. Honestly though, for 1.5 megawatts of power, that cable looks thinner than I was anticipating, so if that is true and looks haven't deceived me, well done. A quick update on Steel Dynamics, SDI, and their Sinton factory, which is about 150 miles from Giga Austin. They're looking to start operations next month. And what's cool is that the facility will be using about 90% scrap metal, which in turn becomes rolls of steel that could be sold to clients. Once again, I did a deep dive on this and how it will relate to the Cybertruck. Check it out if you missed it. Tesla China released a high quality video mainly focusing on Tesla service, showed some video of its call support center in action. We'll fast forward a bit to where it shows some video of mobile service actually fixing a spare tire in the rain. The video was very good. There was some shots of Tesla service centers and 14 internal body shops in China, along with 130 service centers in China. Overall, great video. If you want to see the whole thing, I will link it below. The big takeaway though is this. Homar says you can call them in China. Sawyer says, why doesn't the rest of the world get this? Think about it, being able to call Tesla service and speak to somebody if you're having trouble would be a very nice feature. We know sometimes in China, the features come first and then they roll out later. Remember, there is a lot more EV specific competition in China. Tesla has been holding its own very well. So maybe in the future, once in the United States, there's more EV competition, Tesla will boost up its service, because we know this is still probably the weakest point for Tesla is the service situation. That doesn't mean all experiences are bad, but there are more than we would like. Speaking of Tesla holding its own, well, they're doing more than holding their own, as Tesla is the top luxury car brand in China. Moneyball shared this chart of Chinese luxury brand for December insured units. Tesla, top of the list for December, 70,163, up 175% year over year for an 18.7% market share of the luxury brand market, beating number 2 Mercedes by almost 10,000 units for the month of December. A quick note here on the AMD Ryzen chip. So a lot of people were expecting that this was going to use less power, a new generation chip, more efficient, etc. However, on a Tesla order update page for the range, we've updated the Model 3 vehicles to optimize the touchscreen experience with a new car computer. This hardware change requires more power, resulting in a minor drop in range. Your Model 3 is now 602 kilometers WLTP, or 22 kilometers less than originally communicated, which is not insignificant, as it is about 13.6 miles. Unbox Therapy, a very popular YouTube channel, if you're not familiar, finally did a Model S Plaid review. Was very enjoyable, about 20 minutes long, as you would guess. Overall, highly positive on the Plaid. Link below if you want to check it out. Last up for today, wanted to share this video with you for 2 reasons. 1, a very good reminder of the importance of snow tires, no matter how big your vehicle is. And 2, it's just fitting in a preview for the rest of my day, as we just got between 3 and 4 feet of snow that I will be removing with a shovel, because at the moment we don't have a snowblower. It's a long story, but please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.